Almost a decade ago, Google launched Google Talk, and it really seemed like they had a head start in the messaging game. But a few years later, everyone from the smallest startup to its biggest corporate competitor has a mobile messaging app, and Google doesn't. Today, Google's finally throwing its hat in the ring with a new version of Hangouts, a multi-platform messaging app.
We started thinking about the problem almost 7 years ago with Google Talk. Google Talk was designed to enable chat within enterprises. And then we realized that there's opportunities in voice, so we released Google Voice. And more recently we released Google Plus Messenger and Google Hangouts.
Since 2005, Google has launched a steady stream of real-time communication apps like Talk, Voice, and Wave. Most recently, the company launched Google Plus Messenger and live video Hangouts.
I think we've done an incredibly poor job of servicing our users here. I think that Google has lots and lots of, we have all the code to make a seamless communication experience for end users, but they live in lots of different products. We're going to fix that. When you look at a problem of this scope, at a human level, it even starts at cultural levels. You can imagine that the teams, the infrastructure, the culture, the way they think about problems are pretty different. And so what we've essentially had to do is create it's like the Avengers. We had to pull together these different styles and these different cultures. And this sounds obvious in retrospect, but in reality we realized that we built a lot of the communication products without smartphones, without social networks. We had to essentially rebuild everything. And so we pulled the project together. We called it Babel, which we're launching today as Hangouts. It's the new experience that really is a single unified communication product across our properties.
Hangouts is like Google Talk, but your conversations are synced between every platform you use, like Chrome, Android, iOS, and Gmail. It works pretty much how you'd expect it to. Hangouts intelligently decides who you're most likely to chat with and puts them in easy access boxes in a sidebar. Once you've started a conversation, you can scroll back in time to the very beginning and even view an album of every photo you shared inside Google+. Tiny watermarks indicate how far each member of a conversation has read and whether they're currently typing or online. A button at the top of each conversation lets you instantly start a live hangout with the person or group you're chatting with, no matter what device they're on. Dieter, what do you think of the spaceship?
It's not bad, actually.
You can attach photos and pick from 850 hand-drawn emojis. One smart feature on Android is that when you open up Hangouts on a computer or phone to talk to friends, push notifications disappear on your other devices, eliminating redundant notifications. While the new Hangouts doesn't include every feature its competitors have added, like voice memos, locations, or stickers, in our experience it's fast and is a solid version 1.0.
Our intention is that we will essentially replace all of our communication properties with Hangouts.
So one thing that we've learned on Hangouts over sort of the past year and a half since we launched is that people really love video calling.
They have a sushi bar here? I would hope so.
Yeah.
So I can say, hey, Ben and Randall, are you guys around? You guys free? And I can see sort of when they arrive, right? I can see that they're here and they're listening and they're ready. And it's just one click and all of them are ringing.
Was it always planned from the start for video to be a big part of the text experience as well?
I think we knew that we wanted this to be more than just a messaging product, right? We don't see Hangouts as a messaging product, we see it as a communication product. And we had this really great video infrastructure that a lot of people loved, right? Everyone says they love Hangouts, but it's really hard. And so we knew that we needed to collide these two things together.
I guess my next question is, what do you guys think of Chatheads?
I mean, it's great, right? Like Chatheads, I think was super interesting. They did a really good job with the design and how they built it. And yeah.
It follows some of the same principle that we talked about with the Chrome app, right? It's the ability to take your conversations with you, regardless of what you're doing. In their case, it's on mobile, but in our case, it's the same principle. I can be on YouTube watching a video, I can be coding, and I get an incoming message or call, and it's about bringing that up to the foreground.
Hangouts is, it's an app, but you do dig into Android a bit. Did you consider trying to do something that felt a bit more integrated? Why is this separate from, say, the SMS app?
Sure. I think, we have a lot of good ideas that I think we're gonna, potentially start pushing those limits. And I think, as a baseline for what we have right now, I think, we've achieved something that I think will work for a lot of people and I think is gonna work really well. There's a whole other area of things that we want to do to kind of accomplish an even better integrated product with Android.
You can sign in to talk from any number of clients like Messages on Mac or ADM or what have you. Is Hangouts open in that way?
So Hangouts is not built on top of the XMPP standard. Because we continue to maintain talk for the foreseeable future, the users will continue to be able to connect into talk. We have essentially made the hard decision to focus less on the XMPP standard and more on what our users are looking for, and we'll be moving Hangouts forward with a platform eventually, but likely not based on the XMPP standard.
Moving away from the XMPP standard means that Google Talk users won't be able to get Hangouts' advanced features in apps like Trillian and ADM. But leaving the standard gives one important thing to Google: the ability to be competitive again in the quickly evolving messaging landscape.
Is Google committed to this product long term? You guys have gotten maybe a bad rap that you don't deserve, but you've done some spring cleanings and killed off some products, and we've seen a bunch of sort of experimental stuff come and then go. Is this in that category? Should I think about that, or should I be thinking about this as a core product of Google now?
You should think about it as a core product. In fact, this is probably the strongest signal that we can give, is the fact that we are releasing it on all of our properties and making a commitment going forward that Hangouts is the single communication app that we want our users to essentially rely on.
There's no way to ask this nicely, so I'll ask it not nicely. What took so long? Is there something that made this possible now in 2013 that you didn't have before?
It wasn't a lack of code, and it wasn't a lack of understanding the problem. It was easy for us to make incremental changes on Google Plus or on Android or on Gmail. But they weren't enough, and that's when we took the time to build this project and essentially come out with what we're excited about, but it's only the beginning, we feel.
So yeah, Hangouts are good. If you're a Google user, you want to give them a try. If you're not, you still might want to because of the video chat features. But the bottom line is we still live in a world where some people are on iMessage, some people are on BBM, some people are on WhatsApp, and now some people are on Hangouts. If you want to give up on SMS, there's no shortage of ways to make that happen. You just need to make sure that your friends are doing it in the exact same way.